The Indian Child Bride and the Old Arab Husband. A novel by Dr. A. Ahmed. It has been written in English and translated into Arabic by the author Dr. Ahmed. This book continues narrating the story of the Arab sugar daddy and the beautiful Indian girl. This is an intriguing epic story which resonates with truthfulness, confrontation, challenge, genuine love, strong resilience, and steadfast courage. I invite you to accompany me as I continue narrating the tragic life story of the extremely beautiful Indian mother, Rehana Khan, and her lovely little daughter, Ifat Khan. Let us resume our narration of the lifelong journey of those two Indian women. Before we dive into the tapestry of the story, I would like to remind the reader this novel is narrated in 6 books. Book 1, The Arab Sugar Daddy and the Beautiful Indian Girl. Book 2, The Indian Child Bride and the Old Arab Husband. Book 3, The Indian Miss World and the Rage of Muslims of the World. Book 4, Christina and the Complete Jew. Book 5, The Tears of God, Jews, Blacks, and Muslim Women. And Book 6, The Hidden Life of the Prophet Muhammad. This book narrates the Islamic halal marriage between the 70-year-old Arab husband, Sheikh Ahmed, and the 7-year-old Indian child bride, Ifat Khan. Book 2. The Arab Sugar Daddy turns into Satan the Granddaddy. Copyrights. All rights are reserved. No part of this book may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means without the prior written permission of the author, except by a reviewer, who may quote brief passages for a review to be printed in a public newspaper, general magazine, school journal, or university article. All characters in this novel are fictional and any resemblance to real people, living or dead, is merely coincidental. Chapter 24. Meeting the Pedophile Old Serpent. Ifat Khan is sitting on a bench inside the Arthur Road Men's Jail waiting for the guards to bring her Saudi husband, who has been arrested and jailed for more than 4 months. At this time, she is 18 years old, and her Arab husband is 80 years old. She has spent 10 years in his captivity and sexual rape and abuse, 3 years in Eritrea, and 7 years in Iran. For 10 long years, he has abused and subdued her. He has turned her into a sex slave and a robot. Even though he is in jail, he continues to frighten and control her. He is controlling her, as if he has a wireless remote in his hand that he can use to move her from place to place. She is like his wingless, colorful, beautiful bird, which can only fly when given wings by him. While she is sitting waiting on the bench, the teenage Indian girl Ifat Khan begins to shake and sweat when she sees the poisonous serpent coming toward her, guarded by 2 male guards. He is chained from head to foot and dressed up in a prisoner's uniform. When he sat on the opposite side and faced her, she began to shake more, and her heart began to beat faster and louder, as if it were an African drum or an Indian tabla. When he greeted her in the Persian language, she could not talk. Her voice failed her even though her mouth was open. He raised his voice and shouted at her, and she forced herself to reply to his greeting. The first question the old man asked Ifat was about his faithful Afghani security guard, and she told him that he had been arrested by the Indian police at the Mumbai International Airport for reasons unknown to her. This information filled the old man's heart with fear. The first thought that arose in his mind was that Ifat might run away without anyone guarding her. Concealing his fear, he began to instruct her on what to do. Firstly, he warned her that if she tried to run away from him, he had more than 100 Indian dangerous gangsters who could easily find her and cut her into small bits and pieces. Secondly, he told her not to tell anyone that she is his 4th wife, but she must say she is his maidservant in Iran. Thirdly, he told her not to open her burqa or allow anyone to see her face. She had to be hidden inside her black niqab even when she was in her hotel room. After giving her those strict instructions, he began to tell her what to do for him. The first assignment the old man gave to his 4th wife was to take a taxi, go to the Churchgate area in downtown Bombay, and deliver a letter that he had written to the manager of the Abu Dhabi International Bank, the letter is written in Arabic. Like his obedient maidservant, the Indian wife Ifat Khan took a taxi and headed to the address written on the letter. When she reached the bank, she first showed the letter to an Indian female employee who then passed it on to an Arab male employee. The Arab man read the letter and understood that it was addressed to the bank manager, so he directed Ifat to the office of his manager. In the letter, the old man has requested the manager of the bank to send one of the bank employees with the necessary forms, so that he could make a joint account with his Indian wife, Ifat Khan, who has brought the letter to him. He requested the bank not to allow his Indian wife to withdraw more than 1,000 rupees in a day. The manager filled out the forms and asked Ifat Khan to affix her signature, but when the Indian wife admitted to being illiterate, he suggested she simply use her thumbprint. After that, the manager asked one of his Arab employees to accompany the wife of their important Saudi client to the jail to get his signature. On that day, the obedient Indian wife Ifat Khan has to pay a couple of $100 more to the jail guard whom she has bribed before to allow her to revisit the old man for the second and the third times. The Indian guard has never become so happy and felt enriched as that day. In a few hours, he made 21,000 rupees, when his monthly salary was only 3,000 rupees. According to the jail rules, the same person is not allowed to visit his or her relative prisoner more than once a day. However, that day Ifat revisited her Saudi husband thrice, and each time she paid $100 note as a bribe. After the old man signed the joint account forms, Ifat went back to the Abu Dhabi International Bank and got her own bank card and account book. As instructed in the Arabic letter, the bank allowed her to withdraw only 1,000 rupees. She is told by the manager she can use her bank card to eat in a restaurant or to rent a room in a hotel. The manager also followed the instructions of the letter and took $1,000 from Ifat Khan and exchanged it for 70,000 Indian rupees. Ifat has brought with her a couple of $1,000 from Iran. After that, the fourth wife returned to visit her Saudi husband for the third time. The second assignment is appointing a lawyer. Her husband told her to go to Mumbai High Court, find the best lawyer, and bring him to meet him in jail. Specifically, the old man said that the lawyer should be a Muslim. Since it is evening time, and the High Court might already be closed by now, he told her to go to Colaba, find a hotel, and book in, but she is told not to stay in a hotel that would charge more than 500 rupees per day. Ifat, like a very obedient wife, stopped a taxi and asked the driver to take her to any hotel at Colaba that charges 500 rupees. The driver responded by saying he knew of no decent hotel that had rates so low, but Ifat had no intention of seeing the old monster for the fourth time that day, so she told the driver just to take her to any nearby hotel that charges only 500 rupees per day. The driver took her to a cheap motel at Bombay Central which charged 499 rupees per night. The last time the Indian wife had eaten was aboard the Iranian passenger jet. She was starving as she entered her room, but she was so exhausted she would have slept without food if the hotel front desk hadn't phoned her room to ask whether she wanted to order food from the hotel restaurant before it closed in an hour. So she ordered a rushed meal before going to sleep. She fell asleep wearing the same burqa she had been wearing since she left Tehran. She came with a small travel handbag that held a couple of dresses and a few inner clothes. She has 2 black burqas, 2 dresses, and 1 pair of spare shoes, which is all. She had never traveled by herself, and she was completely ignorant of the outside world. She is acting as if she is a Tarzan female not in lion's clothing but an African jungle girl in a black burqa who came from the forest, and this is her first real human contact. The old man had succeeded in changing her from a human being into a domestic animal with 2 legs, or a robot without a brain and human will. As soon as she woke up from her sleep, Ifat left the hotel and took a taxi to the Mumbai High Court. Finding a lawyer in Mumbai is as easy as seeing a policeman on the street. Lawyers do not stay in their offices, they gather every day in the courtyard of the court and chase after people. As soon as you enter the courtyard, tens of advocates will come running to you and offer to defend you in court or fight your case anywhere in Mumbai. They would charge you according to your case or your means. As soon as the lawyers saw the Muslim woman in a black burqa, she held attention to 15 of them. She heard them babble in Hindi and Urdu. All talking at the same time, some ventured that if it has come to ask for a divorce from her abusive Muslim husband, some guessed that she wants to marry her Hindu boyfriend without the consent of her Muslim parents. She brushed away both suggestions and asked for a Muslim lawyer to step forward. The crowd around her is now a group of 5, out of which she chose the oldest one because the old man had told her to go for an old and experienced Muslim lawyer. Immediately, the lucky chosen lawyer asked her to sit with him in a corner and tell him her problem so that he could write it down in his notebook, which he is carrying like his school notebooks. Ifat told him she did not have a problem, but that she had someone in Arthur Road jail who had a profoundly serious case. She said that she could not tell him what the problem was herself, but that the one inside the jail would relate to him his legal issue. At first, the Muslim lawyer thought that Ifat was just a playgirl who wanted to fool him and waste his valuable time, and to make sure she was not that kind of a girl, he asked her for advance money. She agreed to give him a couple of 100 rupees. He also said she would be liable for his traveling expenses by taxi, and the burqa girl assured him that she would pay for his taxi trips. Seeing no opposition from the burqa girl, he requested that lunch be on her if the case demanded more time than necessary. Agreeing to all his demands, he waved to the cab driver and slid into the front seat. He motioned to the Muslim girl to sit in the rear seat, because it would be haram for him, as a pious Muslim man, to sit near a young Muslim woman that is neither his wife nor his daughter. With the taxi racing down the beach street of Marine Drive, the Muslim lawyer took the opportunity to ask the girl, who had chosen him, all the questions that remained unanswered in his mind. He wanted to know whether the person in the jail her husband, boyfriend, father, brother, uncle, or male cousin is. The burqa-clad girl answered no to all of his questions, and that made him even more curious. He puzzled over the relationship between the Muslim girl and the Arthur Road jail's detainee. He also wanted to know where she was living and what level of education she had, whether she was married or had a fiancé or a boyfriend, what her age is, and what her plans are. His questions were endless, and Ifat breathed a sigh of relief when the taxi reached the jail. By the way, Indians are very curious people, and always ask you unnecessary and silly personal questions which you know is none of them of their concern. For example, if your Indian boyfriend or your Hindu girlfriend phones you in the evening, the first question she will ask you is, "Have you eaten your dinner?" And if you say, "Yes, I have," she will ask you, "What kind of food have you eaten, and what time exactly you had finished your last meal of the day?" Another funny question that each Indian loves to ask a foreigner he just meets anywhere. Are you from? He wants you to fill in the blank as if you are in an exam. The second question, what is your good name? Chapter 25. The Secret Unlawful Deal. The curious Muslim lawyer has mentally prepared himself to meet anyone in the world inside the jail, even Osama bin Laden, or Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, except the one he has seen sitting inside the small visiting room. If he had seen the devil himself with his 2 horns sitting in the small room, he would not have been more shocked and frightened than when he saw the fire-breathing dragon, the Saudi old man Sheikh Faiz bin Ahmed, sitting without movements, as if he is the statue of Buddha. The old geezer is sitting like Iblis, the great Satan, and staring at him. He had seen his photos over 1,000 times in the media these past few months, and he is more familiar with the case than the old man himself. He had discussed it with his family at home, with other Muslim men in the mosque, and with other lawyers at court. He had read the details in newspapers and watched it on all the TV channels. The Muslim lawyer at once knew and understood that he had just been dealt with a high-profile case. After overcoming the shock, the first question he asked himself was how many millions of rupees he should demand as his fees for trying to defend such an undefendable case. Ifat Khan is now the translator between her Saudi husband and the Muslim lawyer. The old man spoke in Persian and his new lawyer in Urdu. Ifat translated everything as best she could except for the usual Islamic greeting, for which there is no need because each Muslim knows it more than he knows his name. First of all, Mr. Sheikfriz bin Ahmed, you must know that your case is exceedingly difficult to defend. There is an extraordinarily strong case against you. The police have amassed more than enough proof to convict. Upon conviction, you are probably looking at the hangman's noose or life imprisonment without a chance of an appeal or parole. I haven't called you here for you to tell me that. I want to know whether you will be able to release me from this accursed Hindu prison or not. You are a Muslim, and you must know that I have done nothing wrong. What I have done is in accordance with the Holy Quran and the blessed Sunnah of our gracious Prophet Muhammad, may the peace and prayers of Allah be upon him. I had married an 11-year-old Muslim girl, which is lawful in our blessed Sharia. For your kind information, in Surah Al-Talaq 65 verse 4, the Holy Quran allows every Muslim man to marry a girl before she reaches puberty. Even our gracious Prophet Muhammad had married our blessed mother, Aisha bint Abu Bakr, when she was 6 years old, and had sex with her when she was 9 years old. So what kind of haram have I done when I married and had sex with an 11-year-old girl? Did she die when I fucked her up? Had I kidnapped her from her parents and raped her? Did I not make the correct marriage nikah contract with her? Did I not pay her father her dowry? Whatever you have done is lawful in our Islamic Sharia, and backed up with a verse from our Holy Quran and authentic hadiths and deeds from the blessed Sunnah of our gracious Prophet Muhammad, may the peace and prayers of Allah be upon him. But remember, this is not Saudi Arabia or Iran. This is a Hindu and secular country. It is the land of Al-Kufar, the unclean infidels. According to the law of this country, what you have done with that Hyderabadi Muslim girl, Amina Hyder Ali, has made you a kidnapper, a rapist, and a slave trader of a minor girl. No lawyer can defend you if the case goes to court without making holes in it. We need to make holes and weaken the case before the Mumbai Criminal Court judge makes his final decision on it. In this country, the jurymen are like little puppets in a public show in the hands of the judge. He can move them and make them do whatever he likes. Whatever the main judge decides, they will consent. How can you make holes and weaken the case? Money can weaken the case. You need to pay a lot of money to many people. We need to bribe the judge, the police, and other people. I will not ask you to pay me as much as the Hindu police and the judge may ask for. We need to pay the Mumbai police and Hyderabad police. We need to fill the mouth of the main judge with so much money. We might even need to pay money to the father, mother, sisters, and brothers of the girl in question. And if it is possible, we might get hold of Amina herself and buy her by our side. We can make her say that her father told her to lie to you and tell you that her age is 17 years. How much money do I need to pay? Crores of rupees. I cannot give you the exact figures now. I must first talk to the main judge and the police and contact other officials who are handling your case. If I agree to pay that much money, what is my guarantee that I will win the case and be released from this filthy Hindu prison? I will get the judge to sign a secret contract the same as anyone else who is involved. I will pay 10% of what they ask for and the rest after I am released. All judges, lawyers, and policemen in Mumbai ask for 50% before the trial and 50% after it is over and successful, and everything comes in your favor. Can you tell me approximately how much this is going to cost? Roughly 10 crores. How many rupees are 10 crores? They are 100 million Indian rupees. 100 million rupees is a lot of money. That is what I have said from the beginning. You need to pay a lot of money to come out of this accursed infidel's jail. Otherwise, you will lose your life or die inside this filthy Hindu dungeon. Consider your advanced age. Would you like to die in the Muslim holy lands among your Muslim wives and children, or starve and die like a criminal in this unholy land of the Hindu idolaters? Okay, I am ready to pay the money, but try to reduce it to 7 or 8 crores. I will try my level best, but I can give you no guarantees. Hindus are very greedy people when it comes to money. Go and talk to the main judge and other police top officials and bring to me the exact figures. Inshallah, after 2 weeks I will come to you with some good news. Barka Allah Fikya Akifi al-Islam, said the old man. Ifit could not translate this Islamic phrase because it is spoken in Arabic. It means God bless you my brother in faith. Before I accept the case officially, I need, as a token, the sum of advance which is equivalent to 100,000 rupees. Why should I give you money before you talk to those Hindu people? I need money to talk to them. I need to bribe their security guards and those close to them so that I can have access to them. The old man talked to his Indian wife in the Persian language before responding to the demand of the greedy Muslim lawyer. He ordered her to go to the Abu Dhabi International Bank and pay 100,000 rupees to his Muslim lawyer. He said further that if the manager refused to issue the amount, then to tell him would tell someone from the bank to come and see him in prison. Go with my maidservant Ifat Khan to the bank and get the money. The Muslim lawyer remembered that he could not discern the relationship between the young Indian Muslim girl and the prisoner, but now the cat is out of the bag. He is awed and respectful of the devotion and loyalty this Indian maid has for her Arab master. That day the Indian wife Ifat is compelled to visit her Saudi imprisoned husband for times in jail. Firstly, the bank refused to issue the 100,000 rupees without the signature of the old man. Secondly, the signature was rejected twice because the old man's hand was trembling, and that altered his signature because the beatings that he had received during the harsh interrogation caused him to tremble for no reason. Finally, the bank sent one of its employees and confirmed that the old man wanted the Muslim lawyer to get such a big amount of cash. After receiving the money, the lawyer took Ifat back to the prison and made the old man sign the required forms giving him the right to be his legal representative and to start the legal procedure. The old man not only gave the Muslim man the right to represent him in court, but appointed him as the legal security guard and guardian to his young maidservant. He told his Indian wife not to go anywhere without the company of that good Muslim man. If he did not know that his teenage wife is young and exceptionally beautiful, he would have asked the Muslim man to stay with her inside her room in the hotel and sleep with her on the same bed and vigilantly watch her movements to ensure she would not fall in love with someone or run away from him with a handsome Indian Muslim boy, or a Hindu police inspector might separate her from him. Even if she goes to the bathroom, he should go in with her to make sure she would not be able to break the back window and flee away from her Arab master. But as we know, the Muslim man is not supposed to trust his father or brother with his wife. This is because the Prophet Muhammad said that in-laws are like death to the wife. Then the Muslim lawyer gave his business card to the so-called loyal and obedient maidservant Ifat Khan and accompanied her to her hotel, and then he left as soon as she got out of the cab. The new guard is not as watchful as the former Afghani terrorist. As soon as he dropped Ifat, he took the remainder of the day off and went to celebrate his windfall of 100,000 rupees with his family. He has neither seen nor received such a big amount of money before. Ifat is supposed to visit her detained Saudi husband every day in jail and do whatever he wants her to do for him. That day she came back to her hotel at 4:15 p.m. She does not know what to do. She has nothing to do after her newly appointed jail guard escorted her to the hotel. She has a small TV in her room, not connected to cable. It receives only local news, and it has a few boring channels. She wished she had a DVD player and an Indian movie to watch. She considered venturing out of the hotel, but decided that it would be prudent to stay inside in case the Muslim lawyer saw her, and reported her to the old man, resulting in a beating or worse. After a while, boredom takes hold, and again she is tempted to go out. An idea came to her, and she went down to the front desk and told them that she was looking for someone to help her get a DVD player and a new Indian movie. The girl at the front desk suggested that instead of spending so much money on buying a DVD player for just one movie, she should go to the movie theater and watch it there. Ifat had never been to a movie theater in her life. She only knew of them from the movies she had watched in her Tehran prison house. She wants to go to the movie theater, but she is gripped by the fear of being spotted and caught by the same Muslim lawyer and punished by her dangerous Saudi husband. The front desk girl printed the name of the nearby movie theater and gave it to her. The scared wife Ifat glances at the paper but does not know what is written on it. The pretty Indian girl told her that it is the name of the movie theater that is playing the most popular new Indian movie. Ifat simply went back to her room, opened the window, and began to look at the people who were walking on the street below the hotel. She scanned the street for the Muslim lawyer. She spent 1 hour standing by the window looking for the lawyer. She felt as if she was searching for a coin among the hundreds of people walking on the street below her. Eventually, when she could not see the bearded face of the Muslim lawyer, she came up with a plan and decided to put it into action. Chapter 26. The greatest Bollywood film director. Mahmood Khan is the top film director in the Bollywood film industry, bar none. His movies are always huge hits. Every film actor or actress dreams of a lead role in his movies. In a land that idolized movies, he is the highest-paying director in India, and he chooses his actors very carefully. He would never give the main roles in his movies to beautiful new female actresses, but always targets high-profile girls such as Miss India, Miss World, or Miss Universe. His latest movie has featured the former Miss World, Priyanka Chopra, and the movie before that starred the former Miss Universe, Lara Dutta. The Queen of Bollywood and former Miss World, who is called Aishwarya Rai, is a favorite choice for many of his recent movies. Even the former Miss Universe, Sushmita Sen, has acted in some of his movies. His leading heroes are icons in the Indian film industry such as Shah Rukh Khan, Salman Khan, Akshay Kumar, Hrithik Roshan, Johnny Abraham, Abhishek Bachchan, Ranbir Kapoor, Ajay Devgan, and Amir Khan. Among the top pretty girls, his leading heroines are Aishwarya Rai, Lara Dutta, Priyanka Chopra, Katrina Kaif, Sushmita Sen, Deepika Padukone Singh, Kareena Kapoor, Kangana Ranaut, Jacqueline Fernandez, Shraddha Kapoor, Alia Bhatt, Kriti Sanon, among others. Although he is an extremely successful director, Mahmood Khan has serious women's issues. He is a serial womanizer who targets young pretty girls. Every time a beautiful young girl would come to him and request him for a role in his movies, he would stipulate one condition: if she wanted a role, she should have to sleep with him. If the girl agreed to have sex with him and continued to sleep with him, he would give her a second role. If she is exceptionally beautiful, she might act as a maidservant for the main heroine, who is supposed to tempt the hero and create a problem between him and his wife or girlfriend, or she might become a secretary to the hero and cause him to cheat on his wife or something of that sort. If she is not that beautiful, then she might get a side role like dancing behind the main heroine, or a former school girlfriend of the heroine, who would appear for 5 minutes in the entire movie. If the girl continued to sleep with him, he would make her his mistress and keep tempting her with gradually increasing roles. But he never gave any new girl a leading role in his movie, no matter how smart she might be or how extremely beautiful. Mr. Mahmood Khan is a married man and has only one son. He is 66 years old and rarely sleeps with his wife. He has many opulent mansions. His main 2 residences are in the opulent areas of Juhu and Bandstand in Bandra. Only Bollywood actors and actresses and extremely wealthy Indians live in those expensive areas. Also, the great film director has other houses. He has a farmhouse, a hill house, and a big hotel in the city of Lonavala. He also has a resort in Kundala city. Those other opulent residences are the houses where he brings and has sex with his young pretty mistresses. Each house has high security and is equipped with every modern means of entertainment. He has bars, swimming pools, and discos in all his mansions. He loves to invite to his mansions high-profile actors and actresses, and have wild parties. In each residence, he has many menservants and maidservants. He would never travel from place to place by car or train. He has his own 2 private helicopters. He even has his private airplanes which he flies on them whenever he goes abroad or visits other Indian cities. Needless to say, he is an Indian multi-billionaire. The latest Mahmood Khan production featured the king and the queen of Bollywood Shah Rukh Khan and Priyanka Chopra. His new movie is called The International Gonda. It is a remake of an old movie with the same name. Its original actors were the former king of Bollywood Amitabh Bachchan and the former Miss Asia Zeenat Aman. Zeenat is extremely beautiful and has a sexy body, and that is why she is called the Bollywood sex symbol of all time. The new version of the latest movie is heralded 100 times better than the old version. Kareena Kapoor, who danced in the place of the former dancer Indian legend Helen, excelled in her role. It is no surprise that the movie is a must-see for everyone in Mumbai. The new movie, which is also called The International Gonda, is featured in 4 movie theaters across the city. Tickets were sold a month in advance and black market scalpers offered them for 10 times their original price. Mahmood Khan came to inaugurate his hugely successful movie in the famous Eros Theatre near Churchgate. Usually, he would send a representative to launch his new movie, but the unprecedented success of this particular movie enticed him to make a personal appearance in Eros. Unlike in Western countries, the make-or-break factor for Bollywood movies is solely dependent on the songs and the make-or-break factor lineup. It is normal for a movie to be a hit if it features sweet and popular songs, and if the hero and heroine dance well. Of course, the hero and heroine have to be on the A-list of Bollywood. As the Brazilians believe in having 2 religions, Christianity and soccer, the Hindus will tell you they worship 3 religions: Hinduism, cricket, and the Bollywood film industry. The greatest of all greats, Mr. Mahmood Khan, spent only 10 minutes in the movie theater before he got up and left. As he was leaving, he spotted the most beautiful Indian girl he had ever seen in his life. He could not believe that such a beautiful girl was living in Mumbai without being crowned Miss Bombay or Miss India or appearing in any movie. He knew that if any director had seen her, he would have already introduced her to the film industry or encouraged her to join the beauty contest. For that reason, he concluded that the girl was a visitor to the city or new to India. He decided to talk to her and offered to introduce her to Bollywood. He wants to tempt her with a role, take her to one of his houses, and sleep with her, and of course, he hopes to make her his secret mistress or a second wife. As a Muslim man, he knows his religion allows him to have up to 4 wives at the same time. Mahmood approached the girl and offered his hand to greet her. The girl refused to take his hand. He introduced himself and told her who he was and the offer he had in mind for her. The girl thanked him for the offer and told him she was not interested in acting in a movie. The proud film director is shocked at the rejection. No girl ever refused his offer. Hundreds of young pretty Indian girls are lined up every day in front of his office just for any one of them to have a 3-minute scene. When he overcame his astonishment, he asked the girl where she was living and from where she came from. She refused to tell him anything about herself. He told her that if she did not want to appear in a movie, he could introduce her to the beauty contest. The girl does not understand what he meant by that. The concept is alien to her. When she remained silent, he thought that she was considering his second offer. Therefore, he gave her his card and asked her to either visit his office or give him a phone call. The beautiful girl accepted his card but remained silent and revealed nothing about her true identity. As he is leaving, Mahmood Khan instructs some of his assistants to follow the beautiful girl and find out who she is and where she is living. He not only wants her to star in his movies and crown her as Miss India, but he believes he has fallen in love with her at first sight. He had never felt that feeling for any pretty woman before. No young woman ever captivated his heart as that young girl had done. Although the girl had walked away, still her magnificent beauty engraved itself in his mind, and her sexy body kindled an unquenchable flame within him. No girl ever captivated his mind so much, created such an extreme sexual arousal, and filled his entire body with erotic interest as that lovely girl had done. If it were not for his position, he would have followed her everywhere she went. Instead, 3 of his men began to follow her, and try to gather information about her, and pass it on to their proud and successful boss. Mr. Mahmud Khan has determined in his heart to get her by all means, and to make her his beloved young woman, and if it is possible to marry her secretly and make her his second wife. While she was walking away, he continued to stare at her as if he had seen for the first time the queen of the beauty of the whole universe. Chapter 27. Seeing the most perfect feminine beauty ever. In the meantime, Ifat Khan decided to fool her new security guard, the Muslim lawyer, and go to see the latest Indian movie. She had planned to go outside with her face and hair uncovered. She thought in that way the Muslim lawyer would not recognize her. She knows he saw her with her face fully covered by her Islamic niqab, and her entire body was concealed behind her black burqa. She had never stepped in public before without her Islamic abaya and niqab. She knows that no one has seen her face since she came to India. So she expected that the Muslim lawyer would not recognize her if he happened to come in front of her face to face without her black burqa. She put on her salwar kameez, spent a few minutes in front of the mirror, and then left her room. Ifat is not aware of her fabulous and extraordinary beauty. She had lived most of her life excluded from the outside world, and she had never before heard anyone praising her beauty. However, that day, as soon as she stepped out of her room without her Islamic demeaning burqa, she began to notice the effect of her beauty on the onlookers who saw her while she was walking out of her hotel. People walking on the street are staring at her, as if she is an angelic creature that has descended from another planet. Some men have stumbled on others while they are staring at her. She ignored them, continued her walk, and crossed the street until she found a taxi. She asked the taxi driver to take her to the movie theater that the front desk girl had helpfully written out on a piece of paper. When the taxi dropped her off in front of Eros Theater, she paid her fare to the driver and came out. As soon as she got out of the taxi, she saw a man coming towards her. Ifat is so scared when she sees the man standing in front of her and offering his hand to shake hands with her. She thought that the man was a spy for her dangerous Saudi husband, and he had come to catch her because she dared to open her face and go without her burqa in public. She is about to run away from him, but the man blocked her way. She began to shake in terror and panic. The man smiled and introduced himself as the Bollywood director Mr. Mahmud Khan. Then he asked her what her name was and where she was staying. She refused to tell him her name, and she also decided not to reveal where she was staying. She is scared that the spy might recognize her and inform her terrorist husband. She knows that her Arab husband would cut her throat if he came to know that she has disobeyed his orders and stepped out of her hotel with her face and hair uncovered and her body not concealed by her burqa. The man told her that he is a film director, and he would like to offer her a role in one of his upcoming movies. At once the extremely frightened girl Ifat rejected the offer. He said to her if she was not interested in acting in a film, he had another offer for her. He then told her he would love to introduce her to the beauty contest. The imprisoned fourth wife of the old geezer has no clue what the man is talking about when he says the beauty contest. When she remained silent, he took out his card, offered it to her, and asked her to visit his office or call him on the phone. She accepted the card from his hand because she wanted to get rid of him. After that, she walked away from him without uttering a word. Ifit felt great relief when the man did not stop her or follow her. She went to the movie theater. She is told that all the tickets were sold, and the movie had already started a few minutes ago. Ifit felt so disappointed when she came to know that the tickets were sold a month ahead. She decided to stop the taxi and return to her hotel. However, while she was walking away, the same curious Indian man stopped her and told her that he could get her inside the movie theater without a ticket if she wanted to see the interesting movie that he had directed. He also said to her he could make her go in for the next show if she decides to see the movie from the beginning. Ifit has liked the offer, but she does not know what to do or say to the man. She just continued to look at him without uttering a word. The man thought that she might be a deaf and dumb girl. He repeated his offer 3 times before she responded. She told him she would love to see the movie right away. The man became exceedingly happy when she began to talk and acquiesced to his offer. Therefore, he took hold of her left hand and walked her inside the movie theater without anyone stopping them. Then he took her to the best seat that had been reserved for him and said to her, "Oh pretty young lady, please enjoy the movie," and left the theater hall. The generous man has been forgotten. Ifit immersed herself and began to enjoy watching the movie on the big silver screen. It is her first experience of watching a movie on the silver screen, and she is thrilled with the new experience. When the intriguing story of the hit movie is over, Ifit comes out of the theater, stops a taxi, and returns to her hotel, followed without her knowledge by the 3 men of the great movie director Mahmood Khan. One of them followed her inside the hotel. He showed his card to the front desk and asked them to tell him about the pretty young girl who had just walked in. He said that he had been sent by the famous movie director Mahmood Khan to talk to the girl and offer her a role in his next movie. He also said that he would love to know her name and from where she had come. The front desk girl became so excited when she realized that the secretary man of the well-renowned film director Mahmood Khan had come to their cheap and ugly hotel to offer a role to one of the hotel's female guests. She told him the beautiful girl was called Ifit Khan, and that she had recently come from Iran. When he requested her to call the girl and ask her to come and talk to him, the receptionist girl immediately picked up the phone receiver and dialed the room number of Ifit Khan. When Ifit responded to the call, she told her that someone would like to talk to her. Ifit has become so frightened when she learns that a man has come to speak to her in person. She thought that someone had already informed her Saudi husband that she had gone out of the hotel with her face and hair uncovered, and without the burqa concealing her body. She decided to deny that she ever stepped out of the hotel. She put on her black burqa, carefully concealed her face with a black niqab, and came down to meet the man. The secretary of the film director is shocked when he sees the girl in a black burqa, which makes her appear to him as a sudden manifestation of a scary female ghost. He asked her whether she was the same girl who had just come in a taxi from the Eros movie theater. The 4th wife of Sheikh Ahmed strongly denied it. The front desk girl became confused when Ifit openly denied that she was the same girl. She knew that she was the one who went out without her burqa and just came in. She even handed over her room key to her when she came back. She is the very same girl who gave her the address of the Eros theater and told her to go and watch the best movie in town. Regardless, the man of Mahmood Khan knew that she was the one and tried to talk to her about the movie offer. She told him she did not live in India. She came from a foreign country, and she would soon return to her country. For that reason, she is not interested in appearing in any movie. The secretary realized that the pretty girl had rejected his manager's offer, but he felt satisfied with the information he gathered about her so far. He apologized to Ifit Khan and thanked her for her time. When he came out of the hotel, he phoned his boss and conveyed the information he had obtained about the extremely beautiful girl. Mahmood Khan is crushed when he comes to know that the beautiful girl is an NRI, which means a non-resident Indian girl who is living abroad and has just come as a visitor to her motherland. Nevertheless, he wanted to know more about her. He ordered his men to continue following her and find out why she was there in that cheap hotel, and why she was staying in a dangerous and notorious area that was full of brothel houses. More importantly, he said he wants to know when she is planning on leaving the country. For 2 weeks, the spies of the great movie director Mahmood Khan relentlessly followed the beautiful girl Ifat Khan just about everywhere that she went. They came to know that she goes every day early morning, without a break, to the Arthur Road jail to visit an 80-year-old Saudi man who has been arrested on charges of rape and kidnap of a minor Indian girl. She spends time with him, and then goes to other places wherever he sends her to go and do work for him. Then the spies asked the jail guards to reveal the relationship between her and the Saudi old man. Of course, they paid the guards so much money to get some information about the young girl and the imprisoned old man. One of the guards said she was the Indian maidservant of the Arab man. Yet another suspected that the girl might be a secret mistress or concubine, or even a real wife of the Arab old man. Mahmood Khan felt twisted up inside when he realized that the beautiful girl of the excellent and perfect form of beauty had become his obsession and adoration. She already had another man in her life. Worse than that, she might have already been involved in a sexual relationship with an 80-year-old Saudi man. But then hope glimmered in his heart and mind when he remembered the notorious criminal case, and the severe punishment that was probably going to be rendered for the hideous crimes the old Saudi Muslim man had committed against the 11-year-old Muslim girl who was from the city of Hyderabad. Chapter 28. The corrupt system of law in Bombay. For 3 weeks, Mahmood Khan's men followed Ifat Khan everywhere she went and gave her nightmares in broad daylight. She saw them following her every day, and she naturally assumed that they were sent by her terrorist husband to keep watch on her. She did not repeat her adventure of going out of her hotel with her face and head uncovered and without her black burqa. In her mind, her husband's spies might take nude pictures of her and smuggle them to him inside the jail. Some Muslim women think that if a non-Muslim girl goes out without her face being covered with a niqab, and her body wrapped with an abaya or burqa, she would be bare naked, which causes men to fall into the sin of adultery or rape her. A prominent Muslim imam in Australia said the non-Muslim girls walking on the streets without abayas, hijabs, or burqas are like open meat for men. Therefore, if the cat finds open meat and eats it, the one who left the meat open must be blamed. In other words, he meant to say, the girls who don't cover their bodies should be blamed, and those men who might get tempted and rape them should not be blamed. Therefore, he blamed the raped non-Muslim woman, and not her Muslim rapist. What an evil Muslim leader to teach such a criminal maxim! He was supposed to be either thrown behind bars for life or kicked out of Sydney City. The naive Indian wife Ifat Khan foresaw her dangerous Saudi husband might order his spies to punish her in some gruesome way. To avoid such dire and unpleasant consequences, the fourth wife confined her movements to the hotel and the jail. She became like a female soldier or a guard who had to attend his duty without fail. Every morning, she left her hotel and headed to jail. She spent a few minutes listening to the instructions of her Saudi husband, doing whatever he told her to do, and then she took a taxi and returned to her hotel. Every day without fail, she saw the men who kept following her like her evening shadow. Whenever she reached her room, she would peep from her window and see the very same men loitering outside watching the hotel. The men would remain to stand and smoke their cigarettes until midnight, and then they would disappear. Whenever she came out, she would see them again, either on the street or following her taxi in their beautiful Maruti car. This went on for 3 weeks, without fail. In the meantime, the famous movie director Mahmood Khan used every available tactic to convince Ifat Khan to accept his tempting offers. He started writing love letters to her and sending them to her through her hotel's address. He wrote his romantic epistles in Urdu, Hindi, and English. He sent many beautiful colorful cards. He even sent her bouquets of beautiful flowers. He collected the loveliest poems he found and sent them to her. He sent her invitations to expensive restaurants in five-star hotels such as the Taj Mahal, Sea Rock, Oberoi Tower, and Layla Palace. He went as far as to send her tickets for movies that are currently showing in the best movie theaters in town. He wanted her to come out of her ugly black Islamic cocoon and show her lovely face and sexy body again. Little did he know that Ifrit did not respond nor understand any of his overtures because she could not read. She understood that someone was sending her letters, cards, tickets, invitations, and bouquets of flowers and roses. She has no idea who is sending them. She thought about it but decided against showing those love messages, cards, and bouquets to the girl's front desk and asking them to translate them for her. She suspected that her cruel husband might have bribed the hotel management and told them to spy on her too. Although Ifrit can speak 3 languages, Urdu, Hindi, and Persian, she can read and write none of them. She is completely illiterate, and that fact is absent from the renowned film director. Who could think or guess such a young and beautiful Indian girl, as she had never been to school in all her life? Mahmud Khan remained determined to fulfill his obsession with that perfect form of the feminine beauty Ifrit Khan by all means. He decided that if he could not get her attention through his various temptations, he would resort to kidnapping her and hiding her in one of his out-of-town mansions. He does not want the outside world to know of her. He just wants to convince her to be his adorable girlfriend or secret second wife. Thinking it over, he decided to give her a month to respond to his romantic messages or sexual advances, whereupon he would order his men to kidnap her and take her to his farmhouse if no positive response from her side was forthcoming. While all this extraordinary attention is flooding her room, something unexpected happens which changes the course of her life forever. Meanwhile, the Muslim lawyer, Sheikh Barkatullah, worked sincerely in his mission to fulfill his promise to the imprisoned child abuser and notorious womanizer Sheikh Ahmed. He talked to the High Court's main judge handling the case and informed him about the tempting huge bribe. The judge demanded 4 crores, 40 million Indian rupees, which are equivalent to $571,428 US. The corrupt judge promised that he would acquit the old Saudi man with honor if he got 2 crores before the trial and 2 crores after his honorable release. Barkatullah also made similar contacts with many top officials in the police departments of Mumbai and Hyderabad. Each police commissioner demanded 20 million Indian rupees. Sheikh Barkatullah worked hard to contact and convince many other people in Mumbai and Hyderabad to join the secret pact. He talked to the Mumbai International Airport police officers who arrested the old man and promised to pay them thousands of rupees if they would agree to change their statements. He also visited Hyderabad city and called in on the mother, brothers, and sisters of Amina Hyder Ali. He promised to pay the family 100,000 rupees if they would all appear in Mumbai High Court and swear under oath by placing their right hands on the Holy Quran and saying that they met the old Saudi man before he married Amina and lied to him about her age. Through the mother, the Muslim lawyer also succeeded in contacting the abused child bride Amina Hyder Ali and made her promise to change her court statements. The mother told Amina that her father would not force her to go with the bad old Arab man who did those awful things to her. She also promised her daughter that they would allow her to go back to school and finish her education. Although she was taken away from her family, still the Indian government allowed the right of visitation to the mother but denied the same to the detained evil father, who sold his 11-year-old daughter in marriage to the pedophile 80-year-old, the Arabman Sheikh Faiz bin Ahmed. After 15 days, as he promised, Sheikh Barkatullah came to the old man at Arthur Road Jail and broke to him the good news. He told him everything he had done in those days, and how much that was going to cost him. He informed him that the entire secret deal would cost him 14 crores, which is equivalent to 140 million Indian rupees, which equals $2 million American dollars. 7 crores have to be paid before the trial and 7 crores after his honorable release. The greedy and crooked Muslim lawyer decided to get the lion's share of 6 crores himself, 60 million Indian rupees. But he lied to the main judge and the 2 police commissioners and claimed that he was going to receive only 20 million Indian rupees. The lucky Muslim lawyer is planning after the trial is over to quit his profession, leave the land of the accursed Hindu idolaters, and immigrate to the blessed Muslim land of Pakistan. Before his gracious Allah had sent to him his angel of fortune, the teenage Muslim girl Ifat Khan, the Indian lawyer used to make in a month between 7 to 10,000 Indian rupees. He has never saved more than 20,000 rupees in 10 years of soliciting in Bombay courts. But now, after heaven rained down on his miserable life silver and gold and hard currency, the poor Muslim lawyer became overnight a multimillionaire. The old Saudi man tried to reduce the amount to 10 crores, but the Muslim lawyer insisted that his price of freedom would remain at 14 crores. For him being a life and death situation, the old Saudi agreed to pay all the required bribes. Chapter 29. Creating the second joint bank account. At first, Sheikh Ahmed thought to send his Indian wife to the Abu Dhabi International Bank and get the management to send him the necessary documents to transfer 7 crores rupees from his account to the account of Sheikh Barkatullah. Notwithstanding, the Muslim lawyer stopped him and told him that he would not accept such a huge amount of money from him directly. The money should go to someone else's account, and that person should deposit the money in Sheikh Barkatullah's account. He explained to the old geezer that his foolish idea would expose their secret scheme, and everyone involved would go to jail. It is, after all, a huge amount of money bound to raise suspicion once it is discovered that the transfer has taken place. No one is going to believe an Indian lawyer can make such a huge amount of money even if he has worked as an attorney in all courts in Mumbai for 1,000 years. To keep such an illegal deal secretly hidden from the police, the media, and other curious eyes, a third person should act as the middleman. The old man understood the risk that is involved if the money would go directly from his account to his lawyer's account. However, the question that puzzled him was who that person could be whom he could trust with such a huge amount of money. It is Sheikh Barkatullah who suggested that the faithful Indian maidservant should act in between. He told the old man that his maidservant was the only person who was not known to the government and the public. The old man understood that no one in India knew that his Indian wife was related to him in any way. He balked when he considered the amount of money that he would have to place in her trust. She might very well abscond with the money. But he knows that he has no anyone else he could use, except her. However, he understood that he had already brainwashed her, and made her a complacent girl to all his abuses just like a robot in his hands. She is also an Indian slave girl to him, and he is her Arab master. Like a robot in his hands. She is also an Indian slave girl to him, and he is her Arab master. He reasoned that if she wanted to run away from him, she would not have come from the Mumbai International Airport after his Afghani guard was arrested. She came all alone from the airport to him, and began to do his work and continued to visit him without fail every day in jail, and followed his orders. Sheikh Barkatullah outlined his plan and advised Sheikh Ahmed to transfer the entire sum of 14 crores into his Indian maidservant Ifat Khan's yet-to-be-established account. Then he should accompany her to Switzerland to ensure that the needed 2 secret accounts, his and hers, and the agreed-upon first transfer are accomplished properly. As soon as the trial is over and Sheikh Ahmed is acquitted with honor, Ifat and his lawyer should make another trip to Switzerland and get the second installment transferred from her account to his. To make sure that the old man would not change his mind after release, the crooked lawyer told him that the High Court judge had said that he would not release his passport and allow him to fly out of India until the amount was fully paid off. He disclosed that the judge would withhold his passport under the premise that protesting parties be given a chance to appeal, this would satisfy both the court and the media. The old man does not feel comfortable with any of the conditions: withholding of his passport, detention in India, transferring 14 crores to an overseas bank into the account of his Indian wife, but his Muslim lawyer told him that he has no other choice. The old man accepted the suggestion of his Muslim lawyer, but warned his Indian maidservant in front of Sheikh Barkatullah by telling her that he would send some dangerous spies to follow her to Switzerland, and if she tried to swindle him and run away with the money, then his terrorist men will catch her and shoot and kill her. Ifat Khan swore by Allah that she would not take the money and run away or do anything else to upset her Saudi master. However, the old man made some conditions to Barkatullah, that he would not pay the first installment unless he would get in writing and voice recording statements of confessions from him, the judge of the High Court, the 2 police commissioners of Mumbai and Hyderabad, that they are going to receive from him 7 crores of Indian rupees before the trial and another 7 crores of rupees after the trial for his release with honor. He said further that the recorded and written confessions should be given to his Indian maidservant. When his obedient maidservant Ifat Khan would receive those written and recorded confessions, she should come and translate them to him in Persian. Until he would hear those confessions and get satisfied, and then his Indian maidservant would mail them to his address at his residence in Tehran, he would not pay a single rupee. The old man knows that he has no one to receive those mailed confessions when they reach Iran, but he wants to make sure that the Muslim lawyer, the judge of the High Court, the police commissioner of Mumbai, and the police commissioner of Hyderabad cannot renege on their word and let him hang high and dry and die like a stray dog in the gallows inside the dungeon of the accursed Hindus. Sheikh Barkatullah tried to convince his client to drop his conditions and trust him, but the old Arab man refused. He said he would not trust his father or brother with such a huge amount of money. Finally, with no one ready to move a leg, the Muslim lawyer has agreed to fulfill the conditions of the stubborn old geezer. But he said that he needed at least another couple of weeks to obtain the written and recorded statements of those Indian VIP persons. While the Muslim lawyer Barkatullah is busy collecting those recorded and written confessions, Sheikh Ahmed has sent his obedient Indian wife Mrs. Ifat Khan to the Abu Dhabi International Bank and requested the manager to see him in person. He former joint account 140 million. When the manager visited the Saudi man in jail, he told him to create a second account for his Indian wife, Ifat Khan, and transfer from the former joint account 140 million Indian rupees to her new account. The manager asked why he is transferring such a large sum of money to his teenage Indian wife, but the old man said to him it was his money, and he was free to do whatever he wanted to do with his wealth. The manager apologized to him for interfering in his personal affairs. The manager of the bank is an Arab man from a small town in the United Arab Emirates. His salary is only 25,000 rupees per month. He guessed that the Saudi man was planning to purchase his freedom with that huge amount of money. Even so, he knows it is not his business to ask him that question too. As instructed, the International Bank of Abu Dhabi opened a new account for the fourth wife of Mr. Sheikh Faiz bin Ahmed and transferred from the joint account to Ifat Khan's new account 140 million Indian rupees.